Welcome to the Rachel Varga podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Varga, double board certified aesthetic nurse specialist since 2011 with over 20,000 rejuvenation procedures performed. I'm an international clinical trainer for other physicians and nurses as well, celebrity skin expert, having been featured on some of the world's top proactive aging podcasts, and much, much more. Learn more at rachelvarga.ca and enjoy today's episode. Welcome, everyone, to today's episode on the Rachel Varga podcast. I have a very exciting show in store for you today. We will be discussing superfoods for the skin. In case you haven't noticed, I'm doing a whole series on superfoods and the skin and getting our bodies into a more alkaline state, which is more conducive to cellular health and slowing aging. And it is impossible for you to get healthy skin if your cells are unhappy and you are acidic and toxic. So hold on, because I'm going to make this really easy for you on how to incorporate superfoods into your AM, afternoon, and PM routines for optimized skin. And in today's show, you are eligible for 20% off of a product called Organifi, which we're going to be doing a bit of a deep dive on. Use promo code VARGA and get 20% off at Organifi.com/Varga. The link for that is also in the description of this episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, share this episode with a friend or family member, because we are going to get pretty technical here on all things superfoods, the research behind how we can optimize this, and much more. So Mae Steigler joins us. She is the CEO and one of the initial founders of Organifi, and she grew up in Northern California, learning her many life sessions in her parents' organic garden. She believes in health and vitality. The ability to nourish our bodies, minds, and spirit begin with our simplest daily choices. Because of this, Mae enjoys designing rituals from routines, finding wonder and presence in nature, and doing challenging and meaningful work. We are like two peas in a pod. Just so you know, you will see our flow during our session today, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Mae graduated from California Polytechnic State University in St. Louis Obispo with the BS, Bachelor's of Science, in Animal Science and Nutrition. As a research and development scientist, she studied temperature monitoring to improve animal well-being, decreasing the overuse of antibiotics in the dairy industry and within our food system. This work led Mae to study human health and change physiology 3 years later, ultimately meeting Drew Canole in 2010 and Jamel Bedahar in 2012, the founders of Organifi. Now serving as Organifi CEO and a member of the founding team, Mae brings over 15 years of experience in the agriculture and health industry. By the way, Organifi is also glyphosate residue free, which is very, very, very important when you are looking at supplements and foods and all of that. Since being founded in 2014, she has played a key role in Organifi, making Inc. 5,000 fastest growing companies list and being awarded Forbes Great Places to Work more than 4 years in a row. Mae lives in San Diego, California, my favorite city in the world, just saying, with her husband, and loves playing pickleball, paddleboarding, birding. I think you mean bird watching. That's me in nature with my binoculars. It's pretty funny, actually. Discovering new local coffee shops and the amazing foodie culture Hello Tacos in San Diego. When I come visit you, Mae, we're going to go get some fabulous tacos and have a great time. How are you today?
I'm doing so good, Rachel. And yes, indeed we are. We're going to have a good time bird watching and maybe getting some great tacos. So looking forward to seeing you down in San Diego. Thank you for that incredible introduction. I am so excited to be here.
Mm-hmm. Well, many of you know that this is not the first time that Mae and I have had a chance to connect. So in this show, we're going to go a little bit deeper than we had a chance to the first time we connected. And I'm really excited because some of my clients and audience members have been asking about not only your superfood products that, I'm loving all the time, but also some of your protein powders and amino acids and other options to support healthy skin. And I wanted to kind of kick things off here. The crowd here on the show is, relatively empathic, intuitive. We like to lean into what makes us tick, how we can be great people and support those around us, be in service, all this stuff. How can we look at nutrition to fuel our body, mind, spirit, and energy in an intuitive way?
I love this question. I think it's really more than ever relevant today as we have so many options for ways to improve our health. Of course, lots of diets, of course, lots of different food options and nutritional preferences. And so today, I think it's more important than ever to consider personalization of nutrition. And this really begins, and just in general, I'm fascinated with the space of recognizing and honoring ancient wisdom, cultural, just practices that are of maybe ancient cultures, and applying that to today's modern medicine, technology. There's so much that we get to blend and really ideally recognize the value of. And so, in this space of intuitive nutrition, one of the first spots to look at is self-awareness with your state of health. And so it's, it could be very technical. It could be, using potentially like an aura ring, or managing your sleep with an 8 sleep, a mattress, you name it, just some tools to help you gain awareness if this is a current gap for you. But ultimately it comes down to being able to answer the question, is this working for me, right? It could be as simple as looking at if you've increased taking probiotics, or maybe incorporating sauerkraut, or enjoying miso in the morning. My husband and I love having miso before coffee, and we're consistently kind of asking that question of like, is this working for us? Are we feeling better? Or is our state of health maintaining, hopefully at a high standard? So this intuitive nutrition piece really requires a good amount of self-awareness, and it can start kind of anywhere. But that's how I would approach it first and foremost, is being able to answer that question in any of those facets. And there's, some primary, whether it's digestion, sleep, energy, mood, right? Weight loss, like what are the areas that you're working on and trying to improve? And then as you incorporate new things, you're really being able to ask that question, is this working for me? Yes or no? And if you're not sure, being able to gain clarity in that area with, again, tools and or a more specific nutrition plan.
Lovely. I was in the middle of a pretty intense cleanse. Those of you listening to the show here, I've sort of been taking you on this journey of what the heck was going on with my body. No signs and symptoms of, anything too awry. And then all of a sudden I do this cleanse and I really needed to do it. That's all I'm going to say with that. And I was starting to get some fatigue. When you're doing a cleanse, you kind of get fatigue with, what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're tasting. And I was feeling pretty low energy on one of these days because my body was going through like die-offs and toxin releases in my body. That this is just part of when you're doing a really good cleanse, like what I've talked about here on the show, you're going to be experiencing these symptoms. So Organifi just magically arrived on my doorstep, all 6 fabulous flavors. And immediately I took a scoop of each of them in a glass and discovered the beautiful flavors. And then about an hour later, I felt like a freaking new human. I felt amazing. My energy levels were higher. I felt more pleasant to be around and, to talk to with my husband. And immediately when I picked up one of the products, I did a forward tip test. So this is muscle testing. So this is kind of like a roundabout way to tie that comment back to how we can be more intuitive with some of the skin and products and healthcare products, supplements that we're using. What do you, and also the thing you mentioned about miso, that's very much in alignment with TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. People also do like warm congee in the morning too, which is like a nice thick congealed rice sort of thing. So I love that you're doing all of that.
Thank you. The miso is, a lot of it's kind of a remineralization before. My husband and I love coffee. He roasts his own coffee. We're very much into like the ritual of that. And so we tend to enjoy miso prior to coffee, just to remineralize, just to kind of set the body up. Typically, folks that maybe don't respond well to caffeine, it may feel like things move through them very quickly. They may even have some indigestion with a quick cup of coffee first thing in the morning. So it's great to have a little bit of food in your stomach, and or not necessarily calories, but nutrients. So that's why we have miso in the morning. It's a really nice way to remineralize. We do normally a chickpea miso. There's some really great brands out there that are soy alternative, or not necessarily soy. So there's really great brands to choose from. We'll put a little arugula in there, normally some ginger. It's amazing.
Wow.
Very good.
I want to spend mornings with you. That sounds really good.
We have a beautiful morning routine. You're more than welcome and invited.
Oh, I will take you up on that. That is for sure. This is a perfect segue actually into my next thing that I've really discovered with Organifi is how to tweak my coffee. I will not give up coffee. It's on my Viome avoid list. You're not supposed to drink it during a cleanse. Sorry, not sorry. So what I've been able to do is still have my coffee. I just did an episode on like how to hack your coffee. So we're just going to kind of like quickly have you expand on if I am right about something. Coffee is highly acidic. But when I add the Harmony, which is your superfoods option in cacao, I'm hoping that it makes my coffee a little bit more acidic so that I'm more in that alkaline state, which I really want each and every one of you to start to think about. Am I kind of like way out in left field, or will this actually help to like counteract the acidity and make my coffee more alkaline?
You're totally on track. And part of this just comes from the antioxidant content of our Harmony. It almost is like a hot chocolate by itself. And what it helps balance is the acidity in coffee for sure, just by the maca, the stinging nettle, the shatavari. So a lot of these really powerful superfoods and adaptogens are inherently master antioxidants, really supporting the body stay in balance, supporting the body fighting antioxidant or oxidation, excuse me, not antioxidants. They are antioxidants to help with oxidation. And that is really acidification of the body is a form of oxidation. So they're going to help balance that for sure. You look at kind of the typical let's say coffee routine, which would be adding milk to a coffee, and that's even more acidifying. It's a dairy, it's inflammatory by nature, not necessarily for everyone, but certainly for the body. And so some people handle it better than others. But you look at instead, if you compare some of those more acidifying foods and maybe routines with something that is alkalizing, it can really support the body handling and absorbing the benefits of that, maybe getting the benefits of coffee because it does have antioxidant content as well. You can get more of that by pairing it with something that's not more acidifying itself. So it's a great routine. I love that.
Okay. I'm glad that you resonated with that. By the way, I gave a shout out to Dave here on the show. He's the only other person the only people that I know that roast your own coffee beans. That's amazing.
Well, just to be clear, I don't. My husband does, and he's incredibly great at it. We have like a countertop roaster. It's called a Be-More, and it's a part of his Sunday routine. So something that I get a lot of benefit from because we have great coffee in the house always, but it's something that he just really enjoys. So I think it's relatively unique, but very fun for us just to enjoy it and kind of like a deepening appreciation of our coffee ritual.
Amazing. For some of you tuning in here, maybe you don't drink coffee. Maybe you prefer to go for like a matcha or a green tea. I know Lana Asprey really likes to have her matcha in the morning. So she mentioned that to me a while ago. And I'm like, I'm going to try matcha in the morning. And I really, really enjoyed it. And what I found with the original green juice flavor, to me, it tastes like a sweet matcha. So when you see me on the show here, and I'm drinking something out of this very traditional Japanese matcha mug that one of my international students like forever ago brought me when I used to host. That was a lot of fun to learn about cultures. I learned that I have very good chopstick skills, which, I was just trying to be
Essential.
I don't know. It was really funny. She's like, you have better chopstick skills than other Japanese people I know. So, anyways, am I the only person that makes the green juice in the original in a hot format? Because it sounds like most people like to enjoy this one cold.
So normally recommended cold because it has that mint flavor to it and mint in it, hence the flavor. But we do actually have a large customer segment that enjoys it hot. So, I mean, I think you're in good company. And so much of that, I think that morning ritual is a really, really great spot for it's. I think really important to recognize that our Organifi green juice is not your everyday typical greens. It's got a clinical dose of ashwagandha in it, which supports the cortisol rhythm that your body goes through. So, especially in the morning, it's a wonderful thing to have in the morning. And especially if you're looking for a coffee alternative, something that can remineralize, support the body, give a bunch of micronutrients, chlorella, spirulina, matcha, like you're talking about, in the morning is so, so great in conjunction with that high dose, effective dose of ashwagandha, and like a really nice rhythm for the body to kick off that way. Really kind of resets digestion, resets the liver's function for metabolizing nutrients throughout the day. A really great way. And you talked about alkalizing. When we look at like the first thing we include in the morning, kind of breaking our fast as we wake up, it's so, so beneficial for the body to have something highly alkalizing, to have something to support resetting the body's core functions. So having a really great, robust greens, whether it's a matcha or whether it's, ideally we have some matcha in our green juice on purpose, really supportive for the body.
I love it. I think it's delicious. The other thing I want to just do a little bit of spend some time on is how we take our superfoods. So for me, I have the Harmony in my coffee. I have the green juice in the original. I sip on those every single morning. And I actually take a bath every morning because sometimes I wake up with some pain from whiplash in my upper back and neck. So I really need to have like a little bit of a soak. I'll do my skincare. I'll be sipping on some fabulous superfood fruit juice blends. And I have to say, I've been using the products now for a few weeks. And I just did some updated headshots. If you go to rachelvarga.ca, you'll see some new photos there. It's like, holy cow, I feel like my skin looks better than it did 10 years ago. And I'm doing less than I ever have in the clinic just with biohacking, with really good, super clean skincare, dermal rolling, being in a more alkaline state, doing cleanses so I have fewer breakouts and pigmentation. It's just crazy. So I love to have the green juice and the Harmony in the morning. And then I'll kind of sip on the red juice or the Glow in the afternoon. And then the golden one that you have, that has some reishi mushroom in it. That is like freaking dessert in the evening. And I'm not having alcohol at the moment. So these are just like way tastier than alcohol. If you are having some people over, serve this stuff, but make sure you mix it with like a little bit of water first and say a nice Riedel stainless glass like this. Mix it first to get the solubility of the product. Then throw in your ice. You could maybe even add some carbonated mineral water, not in a plastic bottle, glass bottle only. That's how I like to have superfoods. But I'll also even add, I've even mixed the golden formula with also one of my turmeric collagen powders. And it's just like out of this world. It's like, how am I drinking something so delicious that is so good for me and isn't like adding calories to my day? It's just insane because your products are super low in calories and carbohydrates and all sorts of stuff. But we'll talk about the R&D behind and formulations and all that sweet jazz. But how do you take your products?
Well, can I first like capitalize your exclamation point and capitalize your morning routine? It sounds lovely and just like such a important demonstration of self-awareness for what you need to start your day and what makes you feel good, whether it's, chronic pain or just the start to nourishing your body. And I love also hearing the felt effects and impact of eating well and incorporating superfoods and the impact with skin. And so I just want to focus on that for a quick second, and then I'll talk about my routine. And I think really interestingly, 10 years ago, the company, we were really focused on educating through food as medicine, and we were teaching juicing protocols. And so much of the origins of actually our core products come from those juice recipes. And what's wild is one of the key benefits we saw and kind of the first sign of detoxification and better states of immune health and alkalinity is actually the skin. It's one of the most expressive organs in the whole human body, and it happens to be obviously very visual. Yeah, and I'm sure you've been educating on this on your podcast quite a bit. And just to highlight the importance of kind of how our diets, it does show up in our skin first and foremost. You can normally feel it in your digestion, of course, right? If you eat something that doesn't sit well. But if you chronically consume food, typically inflammatory foods that you're not digesting well, your skin will also express that. If you're in hormonal dysregulation, if you're a woman and your cycle's out of whack, you're also going to maybe have hormonal or cycle-based acne, right? So your skin is a very, very great tool for self-awareness and just to recognize, am I improving, my state of wellness? Am I incorporating the right foods into my diet to support my well-being? Just check out your skin. It's a really, really good spot. And as you mentioned, Rachel, like doing a detox kind of running through these rituals that help you stay in balance, that is a demonstration. So it's so cool to hear your skin's becoming more vibrant, even than it is now. I mean, your skin's incredible, but it's amazing to hear it's continuing to get even more vibrant with ideally doing less, right? So really finding that balanced state. And we saw that really consistently as people began to incorporate juicing and really nourishing their bodies, right? Giving their bodies the nutrients that naturally we need to maintain healthy, vibrant skin. And so when we look at kind of using the products effectively, incorporating superfoods effectively, it's so important to look at, again, what area do you want to improve, and focusing on incorporating those superfoods that are beneficial for that. And you mentioned a lot of the products today, and it's so key to look at the seasonality in which we incorporate certain superfoods. And I think so relevant to talk about summertime, more sun exposure for the skin, and incorporating superfoods that support our skin's health and our ability to be resilient when maybe, we're more likely to be sunburned or more likely to have detrimental exposure to sun. So a great time to look at collagen boosting. And I say boosting on purpose. I think it's a great thing to incorporate. I personally will rotate through, collagens, but ours here is a vegan. So it's a plant-based collagen support, meaning it's giving the necessary vitamin C, the necessary superfoods to help your body naturally. Yeah, some beautiful ones in there: tremella mushroom, amla, rose hips, the aloe vera in there, and the bamboo silica are just like incredible. The rest of those, the pomegranate, baobab, coconut, lemon, and raspberry, are all actually the flavor profile. So we use whole foods for the full ingredients of all of our products to elicit the flavors. So it's almost like we always think about like really great recipes, but that one in particular, Glow, during the summer months, is so key. And speaking of what products I use, and my husband for sure, as we're outside playing a lot more pickleball or paddleboarding or hiking, we're taking Glow really consistently. And certainly, as you said, incorporating our protein and sometimes collagen. So I'll rotate through some collagen supplementation, but I really want to get my body in a state where I can naturally be supporting my skin without having to always supplement. So I really look at the seasonality approach with even incorporating superfoods, and that's always with intention, right? So I love that you mentioned that. And some of my favorite kind of morning routines are blending our green juice, which has that ashwagandha for cortisol support, with our Harmony, which is like a women's cortisol and hormone balancing support. So the two of them is like a really powerful, I would say specifically women's stack, that product blend. And then I combine Pure, which is our great cognitive BDNF increasing, beautiful clinical dose of coffee berry, lion's mane, and baobab kind of performance support, with our red juice. And that one, like you mentioned, has cordyceps and beets. So I kind of do a combination in the morning with the two hormone supporting ones to kick off my day, and a combination midday of the two performance and kind of more midday pick-me-up support products. And then the evening, like you said, Gold is absolute routine for my husband and I, ritual. It's a really beautiful dose of turmeric, and then the key adaptogen and the key ingredient that supports with rest and relaxation is lemon balm. And that's just a really powerful ingredient for better sleep, for better relaxation, and supports the benefit of that turmeric overnight. As whether I'm playing pickleball or going for a hike, I really want to wake up the next morning ready to do it again, and not feel sore or feel tired or achy, especially as I get older. So that's kind of my typical routine. And I'll put in more things like Glow, or maybe more protein anytime when I'm looking at a seasonal change for myself, an activity change for myself. But that's my typical, in conjunction with Balance, which is a really powerful pre-probiotic that we have right now, which is just delicious. So that's obviously a lot of products, but I had the benefit of enjoying a lot of products consistently from my seat. And I really encourage people to consider which area they want to improve, and then focus on incorporating that product first. If you're not sure, the absolute favorite starting spot is our hero product, the green juice, and mainly because it really supports on the fundamental nourishment level by alkalizing the body first thing in the morning and supporting with hormone balance. So it's a great one to start with. You'll start seeing better energy, better sleep, better skin, better digestion, just by resetting and nourishing your body in the morning.
Yeah, I love this idea of using, just a hit of superfoods instead of a hit of caffeine or coffee, to have like a little bit of like a afternoon pick me up. I mean, let's face it, we all have it. So, full transparency, the other day, this last week, I woke up with a monster zit. I was really hoping that I would just kind of go away, but it's part of the cleansing detoxification process. We talk about skin here, whatever. I'm going to be totally honest with you. The crazy thing is the redness after that breakout, once, I exfoliated and dealt with it and, made it take a hike. By the way, I can't wait to go hiking with you one day. The redness went away within about 2 or 3 days. I'd say within 2, and that's probably the fastest I've ever seen post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation after a blemish leave my skin. And the only different things, I mean, obviously I'm dialed in with skincare, but doing the cleanse, being on the Organifi superfood products, I felt like really made a huge difference for me. The other thing I want to talk about is when you are taking a turmeric type of product. I've had a couple of you reach out and say, how do I take, the turmeric, golden elixir collagen, all this stuff? I like to have turmeric products in the morning and then I'll brush my teeth, or in the evening and then I'll brush my teeth so that you don't get staining. And I've done a previous episode on my teeth whitening tips. Very important to have a fabulous smile. It's important. The other thing, okay, we gotta get into this seasonal products, because I'm about to do another order. My husband is plowing through. Out of all of them, he really likes the glow one, which I think is like the most girly type of one. And it's for the skin. His skin is looking freaking fabulous, by the way. Thank you for your support. But which one are getting discontinued because I need to stock up?
Thank you for that. We do a couple seasonal launches of products. So Glow is one of them that we really only release during this time. And some of the mentality behind that for us is supporting removing the overwhelm of supplementation. So there's a lot of products we can take all the time. And as we ideally shift with more intuitive wellness and intuitive well-being, personalization of nutrition, that becomes less overwhelming and intense. And we're able to see, hey, right now with my lifestyle, with this season, here's the superfoods or here's the nutritional changes that I need to make. So I'm really passionate about ideally educating consumers, continuing to educate myself around how do I really stay aware and conscious of what I'm putting in my body and why. And so Glow is a seasonal product, very, very important to get it while you can, and such a powerful product to incorporate, even for cardiovascular health. There's some really powerful superfoods for heart health. Circulation has so much benefit to the skin and critical to ensuring the skin stays healthy, and being able to carry nutrients throughout the body, and the skin being one of the biggest organs to benefit from that. So just a plug for Glow being seasonal. And we also typically, right now we're looking at reformulating our probiotic, our Balance probiotic. And so while you can get this version of it, definitely try it because I absolutely love it. And we're just going to be continuing to improve it as we do with all of our products. So I would say Glow and Balance are the two that I would take time to make sure you get to try. One for a seasonality reason and the other one for a product innovation reason.
Yeah, and definitely the green juice and the harm. Basically, just get all of the flavors. I have all 6 flavors and I lean into each of them. And it's so fun for me. I get a chance to mix things up because, I'm sweet enough. I don't want to have too many sweets. They're not good for your hair, skin, nails. Speaking of hair, skin, nails, my nails have never been so fabulous and long and strong. And I mean, usually I'm working on my car and being outdoorsy, seeing bears and stuff like that. But I had to do some yard work the other day. And so I had my gloves on, my work gloves, and I had to do some repairs on this 2-stroke motor. Story of my life. And I'm quite handy actually. And I thought for sure once I take the gloves off, my nails would be ruined. I had gas all over my petrol, all over my, it was just, it's regular real life. And my nails didn't break. I couldn't believe it. And even just having been on the products for a couple of weeks, I definitely noticed stronger nails. And what, in your opinion, is behind Organifi that is leading to hair, skin, and nail benefits?
I love this. And so fun to hear like this other side of your lifestyle. I'm sure your audience is used to this, but this is a fun side of you I didn't know about. Just working on the cars on your weekend, no big deal. Very cool. And I love hearing the highlight of where you're able to see the felt effects and the results of taking great products. And really it's in many ways just the experience of nutrients, right? So your body has the nutrients it needs. Our nails naturally, I always love to like contrast this, we should naturally sleep great. We should naturally have consistent, great energy. We should naturally be digesting things normally without any issue. We should naturally, and it's a lot of should there, but it's like we are capable of, our body is naturally capable of. And as we remove the obstacles to it feeling its best and performing its best, then we ultimately end up achieving, hopefully, ideal health and vitality. So it's so cool to see. And I think there's those little indicators like that, with which, as we start paying more attention, we can see all over the place, right? Our body kind of, I was just talking about like body talk, right? Body language, it's talking all the time, actually. And if we listen closely, and that's like intuitive wellness, it's a beautiful roadmap to being healthy and living, hopefully, our longest possible. So with the nails, it's a great example of proper nutrition, and like just nutrition that's serving your body right now. So it's tough to know exactly which of the products are supporting wholly, knowing that, of course, Glow is designed for this. And one of the felt effects of your body producing proper collagen, and even like if we looked at beauty from within, the idea is nourishing the body so that your hair, skin, and nails are supported directly. And when we're eating properly and when we're nourishing our body effectively, even in the format that's best absorbed, we might be, eating great food, but maybe it's not absorbed well because it's combined with something else, like an inflammatory food or high sugar, makes it really hard to absorb, right? And so what I love hearing is you're feeling the felt effects of high nutrition products that are working for you felt in the nails. And I think it's a really good, even as we talked about in the beginning of this call, how do you know if something's working? Start paying attention. Like, how does even the texture of your hair, if it changes, the quality of your hair, maybe like if hair is coming out or not, right? Like those are all indications that something's working or not. And so when we look at nail health, definitely Glow is aimed to support. Amla in there is really, really key, and bamboo silica, two like very, very powerful superfoods that really, really support the body being able to basically grow strong nails, hair, and skin.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're mentioning being intuitive. And if you're tuning in here, being empathic and intuitive is a blessing and a curse. I hate to use that word. But if you have the ability to harness the benefits of it in your personal and professional life, it will allow you to make better decisions with who you work with, what deals you choose to do, what you say yes to, what you say no to. And you can get there by being in a more alkaline state, by being the purest version of yourself. That's why when you read all these things about these mystics doing these huge fasts, what they're doing is they're literally doing a cleanse. Their body is eliminating yeast, fungi, toxins, organisms, and parasites. If you never put two and two together, that's why they do that. So being intuitive in your life can be an asset, but the only way you're going to get there is if you give the body the support. If you give your body the support it needs and is asking you for. And then a byproduct is happy and healthy and beautiful hair, skin, nails, and slowing aging. It's almost like this gift that you're given if you choose to do the work. Do you have anything to add to that sentiment?
So, so good. I believe that kind of the perspective in as we age, being able to redefine our healthiest at each decade, right? That's kind of what I'm hoping to aspire to do, and love seeing examples of this in the world. People just redefining what healthy is at any stage of life, and it's true. It will show up, in your hair, skin, and nails directly. And what's really interesting is as we age, there's something called the adaptive stress response, and so as we age, it becomes more and more important to support the body. As you're a kid, you maybe remember like staying up all night. It never felt hard. You weren't really tired. You didn't really get sore. Obviously, as we age, that changes very much, and we get to benefit significantly from incorporating adaptogens and superfoods to support our body's handling stress. That stress can be felt as improper nutrition. Maybe we're eating foods that our body doesn't digest well. Maybe there's toxins in the environment. Maybe which there are, in the products we put on our body, right? Being really mindful of that, because every time we're doing things like that, our body is doing its best, and by design, combating and or just managing the stress load of that. And so whether it's high sugar, high alcohol, high stress and travel, just our lifestyles in general are creating a higher amount of stress for our bodies to handle. And so I always kind of take this approach of like, if I can look at my body as my best friend. How would I best support it for feeling its best, for carrying me through my day, right? And just being really grateful for that. It's something I'm consistently working on, and I have a lot of growth in that area. But I look at it as this adaptive stress response as much as I can support my aging process, hopefully very gracefully, by incorporating more intelligent and highest quality nutrients and supplementation. And it's something where, to your point, if you're fasting, and I absolutely love the practice of fasting just to reset our body's ability to digest food and metabolize food well and efficiently. Autophagy is happening. It's like house cleaning of your cells and your body, and such a great way to support your organs and lifestyle in general. That said, as we look at then incorporating foods, and especially supportive, maybe fasting or detoxing foods, so critical to look at the quality in which we do. So if you're incorporating maybe supportive supplements that happen to have pesticides and herbicides and are not high quality standard, like that's a really intensely bad experience for the body. So even more so, as we talked about, really the quality standards in which we design products in, it's by kind of the origin story of teaching juicing and fasting for wellness, and really focusing on the quality, all organic, glyphosate residue free, which is herbicide, pesticide, basically like no antibiotics in this food, so that as you incorporate that, the high quality nutrients can be absorbed directly to your body very efficiently, without any obstacle, and you can feel the full benefit of that. So you normally are nourished, your cells have a lot of power to actually feel energy throughout the day, and digestion gets improved, sleep is improved, all that cascades. So long-winded way of saying, like, you said it right. Long-winded way of saying, really, as you do this, and as you hopefully continue to lean in individualization of your health and improvement, really focusing on quality. So ensuring that as you're detoxing, then incorporating really high quality foods. You hear about people like, hopefully not eating a big steak after they after they fast. Yes, and like being really conscious of the quality standards in which these supplements you use are labeled. And of course, we leverage third-party testing, USDA organic as like a baseline, but then also ensuring there's no pesticides or herbicides. We test above that with glyphosate residue free to make sure there's no like Roundup and like really awful things in your food, to make sure that that is felt by your body.
Fabulous. And that's one of the things that really makes me trust Organifi. And of course, I did the tip test and all this stuff. And I literally crave it when I wake up and throughout the day. So it's USDA organic, it's glyphosate residue free, it's non-GMO, completely recyclable packaging, and the third-party independent lab testing, just to put that cherry on top, because y'all know I love to preach from the mountaintops. Whatever supplements you're taking, make sure they are third-party independent lab tested, so that you are not getting exposed to things that, like lead in a super popular and hyper marketed with influencer supplement not too long ago, third-party lab testing. Oh, if you take 2 of those, you are exceeding your daily allowable limit for lead. So be careful with all these influencers that are trying to influence you to buy ish you don't need. We just had a question from fabulous Tamara. Does the green juice break a fast? This is a great question.
Thank you, Tamara. I love the live question. No, and in part, it's only 30 calories. So all the formulations are relatively low calorie just because they're direct nutrients. So very, very low calorie. That one might even be less. That's also 30 calories, I think, as well. So very low calorie. They're designed to really just be nutrients. And so think of it as like micronutrients versus macronutrients. You're not really going to get your daily source of protein from Glow for sure. By design, it's just micronutrients to support the body. So a really great way to either enjoy during a fast, and everyone kind of fasts differently. So it depends on if you're doing a water fast or how strict you're designing that fasting time. But, I always look at it like, is it going to interrupt the autophagy? And 30 calories in my mind and for my fasting, no big deal. That's definitely not going to interrupt. I love to break a fast with the green juice or with the products intentionally, though. So even on kind of the other side of that, while you could enjoy products during your fast in a very low calorie state, and I think typically it's like less than 500 calories a day would be some form of fasting for most individuals. And many, of course, are like no calories, only water all day as an official fast. So individualization, again, is very important. But as you finish your fast, it's a great way to also begin to reincorporate more calories. having we have a plant-based protein that's a really beautiful anti-inflammatory protein made with a blend of plant proteins, and really, really a great way to come off a fast with that, or the green juice. So just want to support the intentionality with what we put in our bodies during fasting and making that individual. The low calorie intent and high micronutrient intent of the products is designed to support that directly.
Fabulous. And I know you have another appointment after this, so I'll let you go in just a hot second here. But do you have any closing words for us today? It's just been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to invite again anyone who hasn't incorporated superfoods maybe before or successfully in the past. I really invite you to start with, either Rachel's full product design, and she's got great recommendations directly for her routine, and just trying it on. Or if you're really not sure, just starting with that green juice, doing that consistently for 30 days. Again, the adaptogens and kind of the non-stimulant approach to superfoods and adaptogens, while they don't immediately change the body, they change the body long term. So doing that for 30 days is a massive benefit to the body. And I invite you guys to start there. I'm really excited to support in any future way too. Rachel, it's been a total treat to be on the podcast with you. I love the conversation.
Wonderful. And to everybody tuning in, as a thank you from Organifi, just for you guys, use promo code VARGA and get 20% off of your next Organifi order at Organifi.com/Varga. You'll also find this product front and center on my favorites page. And it is in that premium position for this very specific reason, because I love this stuff. And let's shit all over ourselves and make sure that we are making sure that we are being our best version, our highest vibe, most radiant version for not only now, but for many more years to come. And trust me, your skin, hair, nails, your slowing aging process will just inevitably become part of the ride. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us here on the Rachel Varga podcast.
Thank you, Rachel. Such a treat.